Hello, loyal listeners, and welcome to another amazing hour of Buckle Up with Bershan. Today's topic is about power. Powerful people, power within yourself, nurturing that power and bringing that power out. Because you are amazing. My warriors, my loyal listeners, you are amazing and you can do whatever you want if you believe. Now, let me tell you a little bit about power. I didn't always have my power and I didn't always stand in my power. I'm a stage 4 breast cancer survivor and I was given 3 months to live.
Wow.
Yes. And when that news hit me from my doctor, it rocked my world. Stage 4 in my 30s, 3 months to live? No, this couldn't be me. That wasn't my life. I wasn't here to die. I wasn't here. What's going on, God? Why me? And I remember the doctor saying to me so bluntly, well, do you believe in miracles? And I said, hell yeah, I believe in miracles. I'll see you in 10 years. And I'm 12 years cancer free.
Right.
No evidence of disease.
Awesome.
And I have to tell you, it probably wasn't until year 8 that I gained my power, because I didn't want to be known as the sick girl. I didn't want to be known as the girl that was marked. But you know, cancer is just a disease. But really, what's the cancer in your life? Is it the cancer that you don't believe in yourself? You're not confident. Fear of abandonment, fear of failure, fear of everything. You see, we all have a cancer that we have dealt with. But what is your cancer? And that takes the power from us, that cancer. It leaves us on the wayside, not living up to our full potential, not being the best we can be. For so long, I felt insecure. I didn't feel enough. I felt like I had cancer any day I was going to die. But now, baby, I'm alive and I'm standing in my power. That's right. And you two, my guests today, are amazing. I just have to tell you, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson and Richard Lawson are my guests today, and they are fabulous. And they are the epitome of a power couple, and they exude in power. Welcome, Tina and Richard.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's good to see you again.
Yes, I know. We hit it off. We did it a month ago, and we're doing it again. I have to tell you the story while we're doing it, because I fell in love with him and his empowerment of his lovely and beautiful wife. I mean, God, if you see her in person, she is drop dead gorgeous. I mean, seriously. Let me tell you, Tina Knowles Lawson is a businesswoman. She is an entrepreneur. She is a fashion icon, and she is the mother of 2 successful daughters. Richard Lawson is a businessman. He's an entrepreneur. He is an actor. He's an actor's mentor, and he is a trailblazer. Yes. And so let me tell you why I really wanted to have both of them on the show. Because I met Richard Lawson about a month ago, or maybe a month and a half ago, and we had some fun. It was a great podcast, but he kept empowering and inspiring his lovely wife. Everything he said was putting her on a pedestal and saying, well, my wife, and, you know, we do this together, and my wife. And I thought, wow, that exudes power. That's amazing, because we sometimes don't get that, as you know, Mr. Lawson, right? You know what I mean? So we got to just start from you two. And how did you two meet? How did you two beautiful people meet? I love them. They are so beautiful.
We met 38 years ago. I was actually pregnant with Beyonce, and Richard's sister became my best friend. So I met him then, and over the years we've kept in touch, and our families were pretty good friends. So, yeah, that's how we met a long time ago. People think that we just met recently, but we just reconnected maybe 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. I love that. So
Yes.
you met that long ago, and 30 years ago, did you have that spark within you, or was it, trying to play coy?
I was married and pregnant at the time that I met him, and we were friends. But I always had admiration for him. because he was, he was acting and a very popular person in Hollywood, and I just thought, coming from Texas, I'm like, oh, he's a movie star. He's going to be arrogant and think he's cute. But he was so unlike that, just down to earth and real and just a great person.
Oh, I love that.
I had this spark.
Oh, I know. You had the spark. You were like,
Yeah, but it was a spark that couldn't ignite because she was married and she was pregnant, and but she was a wonderful, wonderful, sweet, kind, gentle person, and that was really, really attractive. And she was really great for my sister, because my sister was a gangster, outlaw person.
a gangster.
so but they got along well. They were two opposites that really connected. But we both had a mutual admiration for each other and respect for each other back then.
Oh, I love that. So 30-something years, and you kept in touch, and you're still best friends with the sister, or good friends with the sister.
Well, unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Many years ago. What, about
My sister
20?
passed away in 1991. She had breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And it was her original diagnosis was breast cancer. It went into remission, and it came back in her bones and her lungs. So she really died from lung cancer in the end.
Wow.
And she didn't smoke or anything like that, but
No, she didn't.
that's the way it found its way back into her body.
Wow. Wow, that's really, because it came to my bones too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, it did.
yeah. So the breast cancer spread to my bones. Yeah, that's when I couldn't move my back. I couldn't move anything, and I did everything, and I went to get an MRI, and the doctor told me the cancer had spread to my bones.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're
but
you are a miracle.
Yeah, I mean,
Walking miracle.
literally, I am a walking miracle,
Yes.
and that's why I do this to spread the word of the story behind the story.
Sure.
We never really know what's going on, and I just have to say, what is your secret sauce to be so happy? I mean, you two, tell me the secret sauce, Richard. Go to really, 30 years, and now you're married, and you just seem like you're two teenagers in love. I love it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's the one thing that we both come to this with is that we both have had amazing lives. And her daughter, who are two amazing people, and my daughter, who is successful on a hit show on television and is an amazing person, and my son is an amazing person and is now working in Beyonce's company. We have, if you look at our families and you look at the people who we've had some influence in their lives, you will sort of see the extension of both of us, because our children are incredible people. And, and we, with all the stuff we know in terms of creating the foundation together and trying to share that knowledge and emotional wealth and everything else, is just what comes from us naturally and organically. The interesting thing is that, as good a time as we have, we still have our own struggles in terms of two powerful people who have their own truth and their own control of life, then learning to work it out in terms of finding those lanes that we can operate in without losing any sense of the power that we've had before,
Yeah, it's so interesting. Both of you have very successful children. I want to ask you both individually, like your two amazing daughters, Solange and Beyonce. How is it, because you're an entrepreneur, you're a businesswoman, you own a hair salon, you a clothing line. I mean, how is it raising two successful daughters? Did sometimes you have to put your career on the back burner to uplift them?
Of course. I mean, I think especially back, when my kids were younger, I had a business, but I always made sure that they were my first priority. So a lot of times I had to put my business, I mean, nothing, I think in my life came before my kids,
Wow.
Yeah, it's the truth. Beyonce was born, because she's the oldest. I made a pact with God that, I might screw some other things up, but I was going to be really good at this as the best I could be. So I intentionally tried to gain all the knowledge of what not to do, because our parents didn't have any kind of guidelines to go by.
Yeah, exactly. They just did
they
it.
did what they could do, and they did the best they could do. And, but I read psychology books. I tried to learn everything I could about just being there for them and making them my first priority.
And that's amazing.
I've never, the one thing that I can truly say, because I've taught tens of thousands of people over the last 40 years. And so I've had a contact with a lot of people. I've helped to run drug programs for the National Basketball Association. So my whole thing has been about people, with people, for people. And I don't know any parent who loves their children more than Tina. Tina is really like the ultimate parent. And she's right when she says she put her life aside in order to raise and to put that energy into her kids. And it's just recent years, probably since she's been with me, and I'm not taking any credit for anything, but she's now looking at her own life and living her own life, sometimes against her children's wishes. If they could take her off Instagram, they would be real happy.
They don't want you on
she
Instagram.
does some stupid shit on Instagram. She puts her foot in her mouth on Instagram, and they constantly saying, "Mama,
What are you doing?"
Yeah. But I think that has a lot to do with, you asked why we're so happy. And I think because for so long I did put myself, put my kids before myself. And I was always worried about, with them being such, big celebrities, I don't ever want to embarrass my kids. I don't want to be that mom that's out there embarrassing my kids. And as a result, I just hid. I was always hiding.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, way behind the scenes. And when I got divorced from my ex-husband, I was like 58 years old. And I made a conscious decision that I was going to make that change because I had done what I had to do, and they were like of the age, and they were grown women with their own families. And so, when I reconnected with Richard, that was just perfect timing because I'd already made the conscious decision that I'm getting ready to live, and I'm not going to be so concerned about what somebody else thinks. And, I don't have all this time left.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm about to be 60, so I want to have some fun. And so we have a lot of mutual. We love to go dancing. We love movies. We have a lot in common. And he likes helping people, and I like helping people and being a teacher and, a mentor. So we have a tremendous amount of things in common, and we respect that about each other.
and
let me say this about, I think the most beautiful thing is that Beyonce, for instance, is probably, if not the biggest star on the planet, she's right up there, but what most people don't realize is that she's one of the most human people and most kind and considerate, empathetic people. She's still a 16-year-old girl from Houston who, who loves life and loves to give and help. People don't even realize what she does for other people because she don't want people to know.
Yes.
And Solange is an incredible person. I looked around one time, we were in the process of giving. Solange was giving something, Beyonce was giving something, Jay was giving something. Our whole family was doing their own individual thing in terms of the give platform and area, and so it emanates from us naturally to really try to make this planet a better place.
And you know, this is so beautiful because I have to piggyback on what you said. You are so down to earth and so beautiful. Like your soul, you know, I coach women and men all around the world, and they have these egos and they're arrogant. And you two, I mean, you're just a down home, beautiful and you like Beyonce. I met her and Jay, and they're just so down home. How did you do it? How did you know what? They are the biggest stars in the world, but they're so down home and down to earth. How did you do that?
Well, I think, you know, it's again just the philosophy that I have about life is just being, you know, as beautiful on the inside as you are the outside, and that you're just a person. So I drilled that in my kids' heads all the time because I was really afraid of the industry, you know, the music industry, and they were so young when they got in it, and people have a tendency to blow smoke up their butts and make them think that they don't have to speak to people or they don't have to treat people the way they want to be treated. But they were taught that, you know, from early on, because people ask me that question all the time. They're like, God, they're so nice. I mean, how did you do that?
Right.
Because I drilled it in their heads all the time. You know, look people in the eye, say thank you. Look at people as a person and not as somebody that's there to serve you, you know. So that's it. It was an accident.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
good. So that means you took the time, and I think that's beautiful. Listeners, you have two powerful people who really took the time with their kids, because we always get the notion that, you know, celeb moms and celeb dads don't take the time with their kids. You two took the time. You really cared for your kids. Oh, I love that. And I just got to talk about these two quotes that you got. I'm excited. I want to talk about these two quotes that you gave me. Two quotes, one from Richard Lawson, one from Tina Knowles Lawson. One, Richard Lawson: dreams don't have expiration dates.
Right.
Oh,
Well-
I love that.
Well, you know, I was talking to my general manager, and you know, you're constantly looking to define, you know, your brand and looking at the quality of your brand, and it's ever evolving, you know. And one of the things that I really recognize is that part of my mission on this planet, part of my raison d'etre, my purpose, is to rehabilitate. So that, you know, as you meet people, as people come into my studio, some of them have dreams that they've had since they were kids, and they wound up doing something else. Here's an interesting thing. I did a seminar for C-suite women, and it was a black organization that had 600 C-suite women, and so I'm doing a motivational empowerment thing, and I'm saying to myself, how do you empower people who are sitting in the chairman's suite? And so I said, well, here we go, and I started down that road in terms of doing what I do, and what I recognized is that most of these women who were successful in terms of having money, making a lot of money, running companies, they got a job and they worked their way to the top of that job, but it wasn't their dream.
Yes.
And so they were successful because that's the kind of people they were, but they weren't living their dream. And so we started taking a look at what their dream was. So that was rehabilitation in a sense. And so I try to rehabilitate people's spirit and their dream to really go after that thing that is connected to their purpose.
Oh, I love that. Do you hear that? Dreams don't have expiration dates. So you don't have to put a date on it and
No.
say it's done and say I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s, I'm in my 70s. My dad is 85 years old and thinks he's 35 and only dates women in their 40s.
Oh,
I mean, no.
Go, Dad.
Right, go, Dad, right? Dreams don't have expiration dates. Exactly, right? And so I love that, because people need to know, because we get stuck up in this rat race of working, being a C-suite, being an executive, and we think it's over.
Right.
It's not over, Richard, right?
No, never. It's never over. Marla Gibbs started acting at 42. At 44, she got the Jeffersons, and she hasn't stopped yet. And she's still always the youngest woman in the room because of her spirit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's only over when you stop desiring something, when I hate the word retirement.
Yes.
You know, I think people transition from working on one thing and they go to something else. But when you accept the concept of retirement, you know, the end is looking you in the face.
The end is looking you in the face. So let's not say retirement. It's a transition.
It's a transition.
It's a transition from one thing to another. Now, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, let's talk about your quote. You must be beautiful on the inside as well as the outside. Tell me about that, because that is so important.
Well, you know, sometimes you can meet people that are so gorgeous on the outside, but then, you know, they think that that's enough, or that is all they are.
Yep.
And so you have to really appreciate what's on the inside of your heart and your spirit and your mind. You know, how smart you are, all the other attributes that you have. Because as a kid, if people tell you all the time, oh, you're so pretty and you're so beautiful, especially for females, I think, sometimes they think that that's enough.
Yeah.
And that's all they are. And so I think it's really important for you to, you know, as a mother, to teach your kids that it's not all about being cute on the outside. You know, so that's something that I've kind of drilled, and it's my favorite quote.
And I love that. And so it's so true, because we are so in this social media world.
Absolutely.
And Instagram, and everything is about beauty, and it's about having surgery, and it's about body and boobs. So we're missing the inside.
Exactly.
We're missing the soul. It's not we're missing everything that has to deal with the inside. We're caught up on everything on the outside.
outside,
So
yes.
you must be beautiful on the inside
Exactly.
first, and then the outside. All right, let's go to a caller, because the phones are ringing. They're hot off the press. I mean, wow. Let's go to our caller. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So my name's Sarah. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, and I want to know what Tina's skincare routine is.
I asked the same question.
Well, you know, the one thing that I've always done is wash my makeup off, and I drill it into my girls all the time that it's just important to wash your face, to stay out of the sun. And you might not want to hear this, because when I was younger, I didn't want to hear it either, but to protect yourself, wear a sunscreen, and just really to just cleanse your face and use a moisturizer, because when you're young, you think you don't need those things, but I think it's a good thing to start it very early, because I use La Prairie, I use Natura Bissé, I use, you know, really good products that are very rich, because that's important as well.
The moisture.
Yeah,
right?
it is very important.
You want to know what mine is?
That's amazing.
Do you want to know?
I do.
Exactly. I love it. Thank you so much. Yes, I have to tell you, in front of her, she is beautiful. I mean, your skin, we got to talk about that, skincare. So, is there another caller? I think so, yes. Hello, how are you?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh, my God. Hi, I'm Susie.
Hi, Susie, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well. I have a question. It's with Tina and Rich. What would you consider a good day for you?
A good day? Oh,
Yeah.
A good day for me is waking up and being able to have time to say my prayers, to think about the day, have a good cup of coffee with my husband. And we usually, you know, work out in the morning, and the rest of the day is, you know, that it's a productive day, that I get to do something to help move my life or whatever forward. That's a good day.
For me,
Thank you. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
For me, a good day is waking up in the morning and connecting with Tina, and then getting ready to go because we both have full days, and connecting with her just before I leave, and then go do my day and connect with her while I'm gone. And then when I get home to reconnect and talk about our day, and then before we go to sleep, we connect again. And through the day, if I am, following my purpose and my dream and staying in present time, then I've had a good day, because there's no time like the present. If you can live in the moment you're in, no matter what the hell's going on around you, then it's as good as it gets.
Ooh, I love that.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So here's a question, because we're in the month of November. It's Thanksgiving. And I love that you two have blended families. Mm-hmm. Now, was it hard for your blended families to mesh? Because you were married, you had kids before. Was it hard to sort of get in the groove where everyone is connected? You said your child works now with Beyonce Company. I think that's beautiful. But was it initially hard?
No, because coming up, in our early years, when she had Beyonce and Tina, Bianca, I think, is a year older than Beyonce.
I think like 2 years.
2 years
Yeah.
older.
Okay.
So, like I went to Houston one time to do Othello at the Houston Shakespeare Festival, and I brought Bianca with me, and she stayed with Tina while I was there. So her and Beyonce played. So
And they knew each other all this time. So
they knew, yeah.
Yeah.
So that we had history, right? So they kind of grew up. If they weren't physically present, they were connected through our relationship.
Right.
And then when Ricky came into play and we reconnected, then that was their introduction to Ricky, and he's just a great young man.
He's so easy.
Oh,
He's
wow.
a great
love.
young man. The one thing that we do is our kids are some of our favorite people to hang out with.
I love that.
You
I
know what
love
I mean?
that.
It's not like they're kids. We like hanging out. I like hanging out with Ricky and Bianca. Some people think that Bianca might be my woman.
Really?
From such a small age, because we always had that connection.
Tell us what you do with your kids, and I want to know what you do with your kids.
Well, we've been on a vacation, a couple of vacations where all of our kids were there, and it was
Really?
the best. A couple of Christmases ago, right?
Yeah,
We went to
Dominican Republic.
and both sets of kids were there, and we just had a really great time, and we just all get along and we relate because, they're in the same kind of business. They've been in the spotlight since they were kids, so they have a lot to relate on.
Yeah.
Ricky is younger.
Okay.
But
He's
Ricky is probably the easiest kid to love. He's just
really
super easy. He's just a great guy,
And he's smart, and he's
smart.
he's industrious, and he figures stuff out. He's I can see why he's working where he is,
Yeah.
is because he's an innovator and he's an entrepreneur and he's a gentleman.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a real
really
gentleman.
great kid.
Oh wow! Do you hear this?
I'm gonna stop calling him kid because he's a grown man.
Because
Yeah,
he's
he's a grown
grown.
man.
But it's so good when blended families come together and you get along. And that is so. So you know what? Let me just tell you what another thing that really touched my heart: the Wearable Art Gala. Yes. I went to your Wearable Art Gala. It's the third one, and I have to tell you, listeners, this is the most fabulous gala you can go to. I said this: you are taking on Anna Wintour. Thank God, take on Anna Wintour, because this is like the Black Met Gala, right? And I love it because it was done with, oh my gosh, what is the word? With detail, with precision, with everything so beautiful. The moment I walked in, it was an experience.
Right.
You have to tell us about this, and you two, we got to go on about this. It's amazing. Tell us, Miss Tina.
Well, that was what we wanted to create, is something that, is a night that you won't easily forget. And it's all the elements of art. you know, from the food preparation to the way it's presented, to the music, to the costumes. I
Yes.
say costumes of the people that we have. You know, we have stilt walkers and contortionists and people that are outside,
Aerialists.
beautiful models and aerialists. Am I saying it right?
Aerialists.
Aerialist, yes.
Just everything that you can imagine. So we took kind of New Orleans. You're from
Yep.
Louisiana,
Well, my
so
family-
you
yep,
know.
yep, yep. I know it. I
And
love it.
I mean, if you go in New Orleans, it's so much art. Everything is art. It's art everywhere. The buildings are art. The people are art. The way they speak, the way the
Culture.
food,
Yep.
the culture, and that's what we're creating. We just kind of taking the two elements of that and putting it together. You know, when Richard and I reconnected, he would always say, well, you know, you have to have a place where that's dedicated to your art.
A place where
a place where art can occur.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. And I was in the process of renting a building to have a community center, because when my kids were younger, they went to 2 community centers, actually 3, and they were in the middle of the, you know, of the neighborhoods that were underserved neighborhoods. But they went there and they got all this experience, and the competition was great, which taught them to be good competitors. And they would sing and they would dance, and they had poetry there, they had art, they had books. And so I was in the process of opening a place like that, and I was thinking about a name, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to bite your name, and I'm going to name it Where Art Can Occur. So when we got together and we decided that we were going to open, you know, the center, that's what we named it.
I love
so everything at this gala is art. From the, you know, you saw the chandeliers that, you know, was a brainchild of mine one
Yes.
night, where I just worked on it until I figured it out. So it's all about the art, and Richard does all of the like putting the program together and the videos and the what do you call it, the audio and all of those things, and together we work on it. But it's really a work of art.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
This is Tina's brainchild. You know, if you listen to a symphony orchestra, there's one person playing the triangle, and every 300 bars he goes, ding. I'm the symbol. I mean, I'm the triangle.
So I have to tell you, I just thought everything was done where art can occur. And you know why it was so passionate to me is that when I got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, I went to museums because art represents life.
Absolutely.
Art saved my life. I
Yes.
always say I just wanted to be connected to something. So I went to the Museum of Natural History and the MoMA and all of these different museums just to see it, because Black art, Renaissance art, I wanted to
Yes.
learn more. So that's what the connection was.
Well, we have that connection because when I went through a divorce and I was at my, you know, I was trying to reorganize my life and I was at a really low point, art saved me. Because,
Wow.
well, I've always been a collector, but I have probably, I would say 500 art books about every African American artist.
Me too. I
Yes.
love you. Me too. I have so many books.
Yeah, so but I never had time to read them because I had 3 jobs. I was running a company, you know, our fashion line, and I worked with Beyonce on the stage clothes, and I was just so busy. So I said, I'm just going to take some time, and I took off from work, and I read all those books, and I went to museums every day, and I started going to auctions and collecting again. So it really helped to save my life as well.
Didn't
So I
it?
can relate
But
to that.
Wow, it's like the connection that I did. I just got more into art, reading and learning about art, which sort of transformed me into moving through my cancer.
Wow.
So I literally, you know, I did a art curated of coming up artists in New York. And
Wow.
that's why literally when I heard about this, I said, I mean, we'll talk. I want to be a part of this and on the
Yeah.
board, whatever, because helping young, and tell us about it. Like Waco, it's helping youth, and because you, Richard, had a school, you still do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, we have a school.
You have a school together. How did you connect the two?
Well, art is a transformative thing. Like, for instance, if you take if you take some of the kids that we mentor, which we mentor like 95 kids now, if you take art, like one girl had painted, done some sketching, but she, as an assignment, as a part of something we were doing, she did this painting of the model who has vitiligo.
Winnie Harlow.
Winnie Harlow,
yeah.
incredible, and she looks like an accomplished artist.
Beautiful.
We had a girl who could only speak on the second grade level at 12 years old, and
read on the second.
read
read
on the second grade level at 12 years old,
And who was really shy too.
really shy. Now she's at spoken word, doing spoken word things,
Really?
writing
Amazing.
poetry, writing amazing things, and so art has a way of really helping kids to express themselves in ways that they would not otherwise have an opportunity to.
And get confidence from it as well.
Right. So it just supports opening their minds, opening their imaginations, opening the possibilities, giving them a chance to stretch, what they see that takes them outside of their zip code. Most of these kids are limited by their zip code. They can't see further than that. And so art just gives them a chance to be more expansive in their thought, communication, ideas, and stuff.
I love that. Helping taking the youth outside of their zip code, because we usually stay in our
that's
zip
right.
code. We never the mind. We never learn about different things,
Right.
and art takes us through that. Thank you so much for that. And so, the mentorship, you two love mentoring. I mean,
we do.
I'm like, I need you make me want to be a part of this. It's just because I love the mentorship that you do. And you know what, Richard, I know people who have studied with you and they said you have changed their life. Like they said you have changed their life, the way you push people, the way you make people see that there is more, the way you challenge people. I mean, tell us about that.
Well, I'm interested in pulling things out.
Okay.
Interesting thing, the concept of where art can occur really comes from Marie Montessori. She understood that creating an environment for kids to grow in would allow them to be able to discover who they were, so that we're not just putting in sort of fundamental things that may work for one and not for the other. So you create the space where these children can be themselves. So I create a space, and my whole mission is to create a space where I can pull you out of you and deal with what your dream is and what you see for yourself, so that you find yourself. And it's really an amazing thing to see people discover parts of themselves that they've been afraid of for their entire lives, or that they didn't want to express, or one person said, "What, you can't sing," or "You can't do this," and there are these stops. And so the whole rehabilitative process is to try to strip away whatever filters that you have bought into throughout your life, which change the way you walk, or the way you sat, or the sound of your voice. You can always hear mama's boys or daddy's girls or martyrs,
Yes.
or you can hear it in the way that they talk. And so if you strip those filters away, then you get to the heart of the human being. And that's what we're doing with these kids, is trying to help them discover the possibilities that lie within.
I love that. Now let me ask you two something. Is there anything that has happened in your life that someone told you weren't good enough, that someone told you that you didn't have it, that someone said, because you two are so aspirational and motivational, but you've overcome that because now you're even mentoring people. So let's go to Tina. Did someone ever tell you weren't good enough? Or you
Well,
couldn't-
oh yeah, I started out that way because not my parents, but I went to a Catholic school, and I was born in 1954, so this is a long time ago. And at 5, it was 1959 or whatever. So the nuns at this Catholic school that we went to, they were just really hard on myself, and especially one of my brothers. 5 kids went there, and we were really poor. And I could never figure out, well, how can they afford to send us to the school? Because it was, back in those days, African Americans, if they were teachers or nurses, or those were considered like the top professionals, doctors, dentists, that so those were the kids that were going to the school. And here we are, these really poor kids. And my dad used to chauffeur the nuns and take them on all their errands. My mom made all of the altar. She was a seamstress, so she made the altar clothes and the altar boy costume, uniforms. And, she was always doing stuff for them. My brothers cleaned the schoolyard. And we just couldn't understand. But they picked on us all the time. And they always told me, we're going to break that spirit in you because you're vain. Which I'm 5 years old. I don't even know what vain is.
Yeah, exactly.
But they used to say that, and they used to say, you don't belong here. And, if you only knew. And I would be like, no, what? So when I got to be a teenager, my sister shared with me that my parents bartered for us to go there. They wanted us to have a good education. So they were like servants of the nuns. And, but this one particular nun was just really verbally abusive. Wow. But what I used to say to them is, I'm not, I belong anywhere where I want to be. I'm a little kid and I became a warrior because I was like, you're not breaking my spirit. And I would tell them, you're not breaking my spirit. And, I had to fight them. And I stayed there till 6th grade. So I could have been this really shy little kid that wouldn't fight back, but I was a fighter.
Yes.
I was a real fighter, and I fought them. And so all my life I've been fighting to belong where I decide that I belong and not, let anyone tell me who I am or what what I can do or what I can't do. It becomes a challenge to me. So,
yes.
Yeah, so that has been, kind of my life. When
cool.
I started in the business of this, in styling, I remember getting treated bad a lot when the girls first started because I did their clothes, I did their hair. I was just doing
everything.
all the jobs,
yes.
right? And I remember Beyonce saying to me one time, she was like, Mama, you should get some dreads and talk with an accent, and then they would like you. Because I was this woman with big hair from Texas and, with this Texas drawl. And they just didn't take me seriously. So they were saying to me, you don't belong here either, even the record label.
Really?
But, it's just fighting and deciding where you belong. And I feel like every person in the world has a right to be anywhere they choose to be. So that's been my mantra, and I live by that.
And this is such a connection because, I'm the warrior coach.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and like everything about me is the warrior. So you said I had to be a warrior. I'm like, God, this is so on time with this this connection because you had to fight. You had to be a warrior. You had to do all of that.
And my parents did not. My parents were great parents, but my mom was really passive.
Yes.
So I was always saying, you need to go over there and get them straight because they did this to me and they did that. And my mom would go over and be so passive. But as I got older and I understood what she was doing, she was grateful for us to be there.
She was grateful.
And she was afraid. She was passive and she was afraid to, ruffle their feathers because she was trying to get her kids, my sisters and brothers and my nieces and nephews. It was 8 of them.
Wow.
My sister had 8 children, and all of us went to this Catholic prison.
Wow. She said,
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold on. We have a caller going on, and then I want to get to Mr. Lawson because the phones are blowing up. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm Alfred. I'm from Mississippi, and I had some questions about the acting studio in Waco, and just if I could get some more information on it because I have a daughter who is getting into acting and modeling, and I really want her to develop a sense of positivity in something that involves so much creativity. So I'd just love to get some more information on the acting studio first.
If you go to studio.richardlawson.net, you will go to the website, and you can look around the website. I'll give you a number to call, and you can call that number and ask any question, and they can give you a link to my online classes where you can learn some stuff from where you are. How old is your daughter?
She is 12.
12. Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
so we do have online classes where she might be able to Zoom in or Skype in and take classes from Mississippi. That's studio.richardlawson.net. or the phone number is 818-793-8767. That's 818-793-8767.
Thank you so much. I really look forward to getting into this. I appreciate your help. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Wow, see, people can't stop calling. I love this. Now, I want to pose the question to you, Richard, because you are a ball of inspiration. You know, your quotes, the connection that you are, you have the foundation of, I love how your words, you don't make your words barriers. Like you said, it's not retirement, it's transition. It's not, you know what, it's not final. When your words, you are what you speak and you are what you believe. Tell us, did anything in your life ever hinder you or someone tell you you're not good enough, you don't belong?
Well, my mother divorced my father at the age of 6, when I was 6, and so early on, I had to become the surrogate father, surrogate husband, and so I had a lot of responsibility from growing up. My mother worked 16 hours a day for 16 years. There was no real common day off. She wasn't like off Monday and Tuesday on both jobs. You know, she was off Monday and Tuesday on one and Friday and Saturday on another one. So she worked all the time, right? And she was a fighter and she never gave up, you know what I mean? So right from a very young age, the word no, I can't say the way I describe it normally when the word no.
That's a laugh.
So I'll just put it.
Not on radio.
I'll put it a different way. No has to be a motivator. You say no to me, you turn me on. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, cats that play golf with me, they say when we get down to those crucial holes, they look at each other and say, don't wake him up. Don't say nothing that's going to inspire him. Because, you know what I mean, that's when something happens to me. So from the 50 years that I've been in the business, no has been a real thing in my universe right from the early thing, meaning that's what was in front of me.
Yeah.
But I always overcame it. I always fought through it. I always made it go right. Just right next door to here is a place that I was the first black member of that particular country club, you know, and it was originated in 1924. In 1996, they offered me to become a member there, and I was voted in unanimously, the only one in the entire history of the club. So my vision has always been to figure out how to get through, how to get over, how to make it go right. My expression is make it go right. And that's what I've been about. So I don't relate to no. And God forbid somebody say I can't do something.
Oh, do you hear that? He doesn't relate to no. No is a motivator. So you need to understand no just pushes you through. No helps challenge you and say, okay, well, let me show them. And I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not something that will hold you back.
No, and it's one of the things I love, you know, one of the things I love most about Tina is the fact that she's going to ask the next question. You know, she's going to ask the question because she's not going to just accept the answer. You know, she's going to fight through and figure it out for herself. Now, she might drive you crazy in the process, but she's going to figure it out. And she's not one to just take what is given. And so, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that is very special that you two have. That's a connection. Both of you are fighters. You're warriors. You don't give up. I mean, you have sort of similar, you came from very poor backgrounds, like you said, and both.
We might be cousins.
Oh, God, Lordy. I know. If you were, then
we're
what?
Broussards.
No. If you were cousins, then what?
We ain't having no kids, so it don't matter.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so then y'all will be okay.
You ain't gonna see no 3 eyes up in here.
I know. And you know what? Let me end it with this. And sorry, time is almost up. And this was so good. I can go on. There are so many questions, but the connection. I have to tell you, this made me cry in my seat at the Wearable Art Gala, which you should go in 2020. Everybody needs a ticket. And you need to see the beautiful job that Richard and Tina have done and are doing. You know what made me cry, Tina, on stage? You said, because the place was beautiful, chandeliers dripping, tablecloths, everything, beautiful people, costumes. You said, I'm just a girl from Houston, a poor country girl from Houston, and look at this.
That's right.
Wow. How do you feel? Like, what? I mean, two superstar daughters, and even two superstar daughters, the Wearable Art Gala. How do you feel? Have you arrived, or is there more for Miss Tina Knowles Lawson?
I mean, if I left here tomorrow, I would be very content with the experiences and the people that I have had in my life. But there's always more to do. But, you know, I said that because as I was, you know, when I designed this chandelier, several people told me, they were like, we just don't get it. I don't know how it's going to work or if it's going to work and how we're going to do it. And it came to life. And,
Yes,
you
it
know,
did.
we hung every leaf on that tree and I just looked around and while I was doing it, and I got really full and teary-eyed because I could feel my mother's presence, you know?
Yeah.
And think about what I had to, you know, what I had, the person that I had mentoring me, which was my mom, who always took nothing and turned it into something really beautiful. So that's why I got so choked up, and I just thought, God, I can't believe that I'm here doing this with looking at the people that I'm looking at and looking at this place because, you know, I came from just such a very poor, limited background, and it just gave me such hope about the kids that we mentor. It was such a good lesson for them.
And you're getting me teary-eyed now because I
too,
lost
me
my
too.
mother too, and it's just I'm so full. But and my mother has been a big mentor, and it's interesting how you don't know someone, and we're doing a podcast,
And we got so much.
and we got so much in common.
That's
My
right.
mother was she sewed, and my mother
Wow.
made things, and my mother always made things beautiful, and she's not here from breast cancer. So it's interesting that you were so full on that, and it was
Yeah.
like, wow. I was like, I want to interview you, and I am today, and I'm thankful, God, thank you. And Richard, I mean, businessman, entrepreneur, actor's coach, I mean, warrior. You push through everything. You don't stop. Like, what's next for Mr. Lawson?
Well, you know, I'm full of dreams, and I'm full of you know, I'm an inventor, and I do have a patent on something I've invented. And I'm always looking to create more and do more. If anything, I have a problem is like, yo, man, you need to focus on one thing at a time because you got too much. You got so much going on. There's just so much.
I love that. I love that. Now, any last words for the listener? Buckle Up with Bershan is about buckling up your life, right? I wanted the story behind the story. I want your last word and your last word to these viewers out here of inspiration. Something from Miss Tina Knowles Lawson.
Well, I think for me, it would just be pretty much the same thing that Richard says about not having an expiration date. And I'm saying that because I'm 65 years old.
And she doesn't look it.
And I, you know, I moved here 6 years ago. I got a new man, a new house, a new car, and a new life at 60 years old. So it's, you know, it's very possible. You shouldn't give up. You should just keep it moving.
A new man, a new car, a new house, a new everything.
A new city.
A new city, a new
Yes, new
everything.
friends.
New friends. And she is
Yes.
fabulous and full and 65. I still can't. I mean, we got to talk
And
offline.
she's Amazon Prime's favorite customer.
Are you? Oh, Lord.
We got more boxes at the house than you can imagine.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you, Amazon has, because everybody
It'll
loves
change your life.
and it
right?
comes in a day.
Yes.
It comes in a day, so
Exactly.
you can oh Lord,
And you can use your American Express points.
yes, and then you get the point. I know, isn't that terrible? Now, Richard, what are your last words to the listeners, the loyal listeners? Thank you.
Never let your expectation get higher than your gratitude.
Yeah.
Ooh, let me say that one more time for the listeners.
Never let your expectation get higher than your gratitude.
I love that.
So many of these young people want instant coffee. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they don't really understand what it took for them to be in a position to be able to get it. You know what I mean? Because they lack gratitude.
They lack gratitude. They think everything is instant.
Instant.
Everyone, I mean, people don't understand the story behind the story. And then, like you were telling about your daughters, they've been doing it since
Oh,
the
yeah.
kids, 4. So never let that get you. We have to be grateful. And we have to understand it takes hard work. It takes dedication. It takes perseverance. Success does not come overnight.
No.
It is not a video on YouTube.
That's
No,
right.
it's a process.
And you have to earn it. You know, it's a lot of people are entitled.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I don't even want this to end. This is so good. I have so many. You know what? We're going to stay in touch, and this is more and more and more. I just want to say thank you, Miss Tina Knowles Lawson, and thank you, Richard Lawson, for being so honest, so genuine, so real, and amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
coming on Buckle Up with Bershan.
Thanks for inviting us.
And this is great
I'm gonna
what
be
you're
doing
doing.
this. I'm gonna be doing this in a minute.
Oh,
This podcasting.
I love it. You need to
right.
because your inspiration is everything. Thank you, Tina.